Early on in my pregnancy, my doctor just had to monitor me pretty close. Closer to the end, my blood pressure started to rise. And I remember telling Scott, something's just not right. I was 29 weeks and 1 day at that time. The doctor came in and she told us that we were going to go straight to the hospital. And then that afternoon, she made the decision to go ahead and do an emergency C-section. I ended up having preeclampsia. And like I said, my blood pressure got so high. They were worried that I would start having seizures or have a stroke. So I remember, just being so terrified, just not knowing, what was going to happen to her, to me. Being born at 29 weeks and 1 day, you just didn't know what to expect. Nurses and doctors and, everybody coming in and telling us all the possibilities of what could happen when she was born and just the unknown. It was just terrifying. I just started praying. We knew the doctors and nurses from the NICU unit were in there ready to take her as soon as she was born. As soon as she came out crying. And it was music to our ears, to hear her cry at 29 weeks and 1 day. And she was breathing on her own. She stayed in the NICU unit for about 6 weeks. She was 2 pounds, 2 ounces when she was born, 14 inches long. And she's our miracle baby in more ways than one. In the very beginning, we were only able to hold her once a day for like 15 minutes. It was hard, but we treasure those 15 minutes, and it was just the best feeling to be able to hold her. It was definitely scary. Every day was a new experience. Having all the machines and the wires, and I still at times can hear those machines going off and the sounds. I think it'll never leave me. I went every day and night and just sat by her and, talked to her, took pictures, got to hold her. The doctors and nurses were just so amazing, just explaining everything to us. And, they never made us feel like we had a silly question, or, they always made sure that we understood what was going on. The nurses and doctors became family, and they called her a little diva when she was in the NICU unit, and she was such a fighter from the beginning. And I think once they took the feed-in tube out, it was kind of more of a relief. We knew she, took the bottle on her own. We knew she had gotten through her 2 brain scans, and she didn't have any bleeding on her brain. Her eyes were okay. That was kind of a relief, being able to say, okay, we made it through that. We're gonna make it. The night before we took her home, we got to, stay in a room with her. She still had all the machines hooked up to her, but we were able to, take care of her. We were able to do everything for her. The nurses still came in and, just made sure we didn't need anything. And so it was kind of scary because you're so used to her having the machines and having the nurses, and it kind of hits home, you're on your own now. And so it was mixed emotions for sure. We were definitely happy and relieved, but it was scary too. I think it was amazing, knowing that we didn't have to be transported anywhere, and that everything, she would need would be right here down the road from us. It felt great. I think just having family close by and being in your hometown makes a difference for sure. You could just tell with the staff, and, they love those babies there, and the doctors. So it was amazing to be able to stay in Lake Charles. In April of this year, we did have our second child, Brooks, and I ended up having an emergency C-section again. Different experience for sure. It still was a little nervous, a little anxious, just because with everything going on with COVID and not knowing what to expect. But we chose Lake Area because the care that they had given me and Bella was just amazing. And, we knew we would get that care again, and just, trusting the doctors and nurses. And we knew that they had everything they needed to make sure that we had a safe delivery there, and we would always choose them as our hospital. They're just amazing, and they're just near and dear to our heart.